Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us at the Chelsea Sharks team announcement presser with our Chelsea Sharks head coach, Sean Everitt. I'm going to open the floor for questions.
Sean, if I can start, how's the team's psychological makeup in terms of where the heads are at? It's been probably quite a long tour, some difficulties with the travel and COVID and all that kind of nonsense, but I'm sure you guys looking forward to getting home, but eye on the prize, which is obviously a good result this weekend.
Yeah, very much so. I think the win did us good from a psychic point of view. The guys are really in a good space. They're very happy. They're excited, obviously, for the game on Saturday night to try and get the 2 wins out of 4 on the tour. So I think the victory on the weekend has certainly lifted morale and motivated the boys to get 2 out of the 4. In saying that, it has been a long tour, and the guys will be looking forward to get home, I'm sure.
Sean, going into this weekend's fixture with 3 games under the belt, if you guys could get 2 wins from 4 games, would that be beyond what you would have imagined going into the competition?
Yeah, we never set ourselves a tournament goal for this tour. But we had quietly as coaches spoken about coming home with between 8 and 12 points. But yes, to get 2 wins under the belt, I would say we would call that a good tour. If I go back at Super Rugby in the past, being away for 4 weeks, a long time, 3rd week being challenging, and we got a win in the 3rd week. So yeah, I think we'll be bang on target if we get this win on Saturday night.
Sean, I guess the other thing that is keeping the players well motivated is, as well as you guys played last weekend, especially in that second half, there was still room for improvement, wasn't it? I mean, I'm sure the guys feel that they can actually play even better than they did last weekend.
Yes, I think that's the beauty of it. We struggled with our game management in the first game at Thomond Park against Munster, and we paid dearly for it. If you remember in that game, we gave away a number of penalties which allowed them to get into our 22. It was totally different this time around, and knowing that we were playing against a big physical team that play for penalties to get position on the field, I thought our game management was outstanding, and credit to Ruan Pienaar and Boeta Chamberlain and the way they managed the game. In saying that, you're 100% correct. We did leave a few opportunities out on the field, and we've worked hard on our accuracy and our execution. I look back at a couple of tries that were spilt, and a bonus point was there for the taking. We didn't grab that. So yes, definitely room for improvement in our execution, and hopefully that will come to the fore on Saturday night.
Sean, how much of a positive is it seeing a guy like Boeta Chamberlain grow into that role at fly half, given his age, given the fact that he's sort of been behind Cohen Bosch for quite a long period of time, seeing him now grow into that fly half role? I know that it's still early days, but how encouraging has that been for you guys?
Yeah, it's massive because he fills a big hole that we have as far as depth in that position is concerned. I coached Boeta back in 2018, so I know what his ability and his potential and his skill set is. And unfortunately, due to injury in his under 21 year, it was last year, he had a shoulder injury. He didn't get much game time, and he slowly come back to the fore. He played a couple of games in the Currie Cup, and we've been blooding him this year to give him confidence. And this tour was a great opportunity for him to do just what he is doing now, and that's dominating the show. I'm very pleased for him, but most importantly, he was a big contributor to the team's successes on Saturday against the Ospreys.
Sean, you've obviously gone with continuity as much as possible during the tour. Would you just talk us through the changes? You said Pepsi was just getting a bit of a rest last week. He has carried a heavy workload, but just a little bit on the changes. I know you've got a change in centre midfield.
Yeah, what we wanted to do just for team morale, being a 4-week tour to the UK for the first time, is we wanted to give as many guys as possible an opportunity, and we've been able to give 33 out of the 34 guys an opportunity without, weakening the team. And I said last week the changes that were made would certainly strengthen the team, because the guys that come in are certainly motivated to do well, to probably get into selection for the last game. So yeah, Murray costed it very well against Munster. Unfortunately, he picked up an injury in the middle of the week just before we announced the team, and Marius came in to replace him. So Murray gets a second bite at the cake after playing very well against Munster. So that's one of the changes. As you mentioned, Pepsi was rested last week, and there were a couple of rotational changes within the squad. And we have, as much as possible, tried to pick our best team this week without rotating. Unfortunately, Yao Pinkwe and Takir Abrams, who got injured last week, with Sanele Nahamba, who's had a family bereavement, have returned home to attend to injuries and obviously to family matters. So that's the reason for the bulk of the changes.
Thank you.
Sean,
Coach, you've had
just on Takir Abrahams, it looked like quite a nasty injury. How bad is it?
Yeah, it's a significant injury. He's returned home. He's going to have scans at home, and you'll see an orthopedic surgeon, and then we'll know in full detail the extent of that injury.
And Coach, you've had Bonilla joining you in camp on your tour. How is he doing, and how has he found the system there?
Yeah, TITO has fitted in really well. He's an amazing guy. You know, he was here for one day and he was everyone's mate. You know, that speaks volumes for the type of person that he is. He's a confident guy. We know he's an international player. He's certainly brought quality to the field in our training. He's got a great skill set. He's got a good boot. So we look forward to seeing what he can do for us. He's extremely hard worker, probably a little bit frustrated that he never got much time in the rugby championship. The reason for him joining us on this tour was that he could get a taste and meet the guys and get a taste of the URC and what we're trying to do as a team from a game model perspective. After this trip, he'll be returning home to see his family as he awaits for the birth of his first child. So it was a great experience for him and a good learning curve. But at the same time, for us to get him integrated in our rugby system, you know, has been vitally important.
And when is he coming back after the birth of the child?
Yeah, he'll be available for the next round of fixtures at the end of November.
Sean, looking at the
Go ahead.
Go for it, Ken.
Carry on, Nick.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay. I'm just looking at your squad, and you've done a lot of rotations throughout the 4 weeks. How important has that management been, given the new environment that you guys have been in and the opposition that you guys have come up against? Have you been very specific about who you've played when and against which opposition?
Yeah, very much so. I think you got to get the balance right when it comes to giving guys opportunity. You know, we started this process quite a while ago, and I'm quite comfortable to give the guys the opportunities that they've had because we've seen their ability and we know that they can cope at this level. Yeah, it is quite strategic in how you plan it because, you know, you've got to have a mixture between youth and experience. So obviously a young Buta Chamberlain coming in, playing his first game with Ruan on the inside would have helped him and given him a lot of confidence. And then you tend to go with some experience around him. So yeah, we've got to get the balance right. There's obviously a big focus on set piece here in the Northern Hemisphere. So it's important that we get the fundamentals right, you know, and there's 4 things that you basically need to win rugby games, and that's discipline, set piece, territory and defense. And if you get those 4 things right, you know, your attack will flow from it. So yeah, you know, we have to get the balance right in what we're trying to achieve, and also to manage the game correctly.
And you next up, then after 2 more.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. Sean, speaking of internationals, it looks like you're about to have another one in Dylan Richardson. I know the Sharks have said that one of your KPIs, if you like, is to produce players for the Springboks. I guess, though, that you've also got to look after your own team first. And was it a case of Dylan? I mean, it's kind of a win-win that you guys get to keep him, and he's going to be involved with Scotland. Yeah, it's a massive win for us. You know, we hate losing players to you know, opposition countries. Yeah, you know, it's a good career path for Dylan. But I suppose it is a sad day for South African rugby when you lose a quality player like that, especially at a young age. It's
a path that he has chosen, and we wish him all the best, and we certainly support him in his role. The Scottish Rugby Union has been watching Dylan over the past 4 years, and they've been watching his progression. You know, they did approach him back in 2018 to play in the World Cup for Scotland. So I think the writing was always on the cards, but you know, we support Dylan in his quest to play international rugby, and obviously wish him all the best, and hope that he represents Scotland, because, you know, if he brings that international experience back to us, it certainly is a massive benefit to the team.
Sean, if I can just follow up, you've been saying for a while that you see an international quality player in him. What are the sort of qualities that Dylan has that you believe will make him a success at test level?
Yeah, we've got to look at the contributions that he's made to our team. You know, he's got a high tackle rate, which goes with his high work rate. Obviously, you know, he's a strong ball carrier, and he's really good on the ground. So I suppose he's an all-round rugby player. So I think the number of contributions that he makes in a game, you know, reminds me of a young Pieter-Steph du Toit, who has just got an unbelievable engine on him, and he doesn't tire, and he's a guy that can play for 80 minutes at this, you know, at the same intensity. So yeah, he's got a gift that, you know, that he can go for long periods of time. And he certainly has improved and grown with the more games that he's played. So yeah, a massive plus for Scottish rugby.
Final question.
Sean, I believe you had a session with Tapie Heens. How has that been? And do you think it gave you a good idea of what to expect going forward now?
Yeah, it was great to have Tapie. As you know, he helped the Bulls out, and he certainly, you know, added value to our team meeting, where we just cleared up some law interpretations at the breakdown. You know, we've been penalized quite heavily at the breakdown, and once again, it's because we do go hard at the ball. But I think it's from an attacking breakdown point of view as well. There were other things that we had to just clear up, like the 5-meter, 10-meter rule from an attacking point of view. You know, we were blown quite harshly in the Currie Cup, and it's right, because it's a law, and I see teams that law here is not blown as strictly. So yes, it was really beneficial to get an understanding of how they see the game, rather than, you know, from a law interpretation point of view.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Sean, for your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Sean.
Sean.
Bye. Ciao.
Thanks.